Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. I urge you to follow me on social media on Instagram and Facebook at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're interested in buying, selling, or investing in commercial or residential real estate in the greater Houston area or anywhere in the great state of Texas, I urge you to stop by our website at brooksanddavis.com. I want to thank you for tuning in this week. We have a really exciting show planned. As always, my co-host is not only a Texas real estate broker, entrepreneur, he's also a serial entrepreneur, and he's also an author. So I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast audience the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
What up, beautiful people? It's always a pleasure to be in front of you today. I'm excited. Thank you all that continue to send me messages about how much you enjoy me talking with my hands. Here they are. Here I am talking with them, right? Rick, things have been amazing, man. So I had a pleasure. This morning I had the pleasure of going on the Champion School of Real Estate's podcast with Rita. And if you don't know, Champion School of Real Estate is where most of us get licensed at. It's the #1 real estate school in the nation. And so I was on there with a gentleman named Rob. Rob is known as the smoking broker out of Dallas, Texas, man. And literally we had so many things in common. He's been in the industry about 18 years as well, and he's building a phenomenal business in the Dallas areas. And of course, Brooks and Davis, we're doing our thing down here. But I just wanted to give a shout out to that Champion School of Real Estate, the live podcast that we did. It was amazing. The energy was rocking and rolling. So make sure you check out our feed here on the page. I'm going to repost it. And, if y'all have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us. But it's amazing just being in this real estate industry at this time. I'm loving it.
It's funny because I was really excited when you were going to be on the pod with Champion School of Real Estate, because I know how much work and marketing and events you partner with the Champion School of Real Estate now and in the past. Yeah. So I want to congratulate you and also thank the Champion Real Estate School for having you on their podcast, because I know that type of exposure is enormous. Yeah. It gives you an opportunity to meet all their past, present, and future students. Yeah. And I'm sure you had a great time.
And it was amazing because it really just, like Rita said, it kind of shows the body of work that I've put in, because it's not, you don't just invite just anybody on there. That's a huge platform. So it's an enormous pat on the back for the body of work that myself and Michael have put in with building Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. It's
outstanding work.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, we're going to have some guests today.
Okay.
That you are very, very familiar with.
I am. I'm familiar with on a professional end. I've hung out with them for birthdays before, so no doubt about it. These are my people, as we like to say in our culture.
The cool thing is
my
that
kid folks.
The great thing about it is because for the past couple of weeks, Mr. Brooks, you've been really great to share members of your power team.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
With our Prime Real Estate Network audience. So once again, these two professionals are part of the Larry W. Brooks Power Team. And I would like to introduce two brokers from the highly successful Trust Tolson Insurance and Financial Services Company. The first is Mr. Markus Tolson, and our second guest is Ms. Christin Olivier. So anyone that is interested in learning more about insurance, financial services, or in need of those type of products, please let's tag, let's text, let's share, let's comment, and get everyone involved in this episode, because the information that these two professionals are going to share today is absolutely positively invaluable. And without any further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Markus Tolson and Ms. Christin Olivier to the Prime Real Estate Network.
I love that wave.
How you guys doing?
That wave was like, hey, y'all couldn't see that wave if you're on the podcast, so make sure you go to the YouTube page, type in Prime Real Estate Network, subscribe so you can see this wave that she just did. I'm just saying, the only thing we was missing was the motorcade. Like, you just need to be sitting on the back of a car on the motorcade with that wave.
She's queening over here.
Queening over here. No doubt.
The question is, how many times have you been the homecoming queen?
I was not the homecoming queen. I come from a very strict background, and my parents were not allowing dates and going off to dances or whatnot. I was at home with mommy and daddy, and we was reading in Corinthians. Okay.
The crazy part about it is she still looks like she's 18, so people are still nominating her for the homecoming.
No doubt about it.
Well, I didn't think she was any older than 23, but
Well, this Sunday is my 33rd birthday.
Whoa,
wow.
there you go.
Yes.
now
And if y'all
that's a
don't know,
first.
the gram and the social media knows it's out there. The world is celebrating.
But Larry, that's a first for us.
Yeah.
She is the first of our guests to publicly admit to or be proud of their age.
But she has reason, right?
Absolutely.
I get it from my mama.
But I want to thank you and Markus, Ms. Christin, for carving some time out of your busy schedules to sit in with us today. So I want to get straight to it because there's so much information about insurance and financial services that I want to make sure you have an opportunity to share with the audience. So Markus, to you first, what is one of the biggest misconceptions that you run into in the consumer space when you're dealing with clients or consulting with them about the services you provide?
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions really is just that people just want to have the cheapest insurance. And you've heard the term that you get what you pay for, right? But a lot of times it's really important with insurance because it has such an impact on your life and can have a major financial impact on your life.
Yeah.
So those are one of the biggest misconceptions, that you just want to get the cheapest insurance that you can.
And right now, are there any new changes to like any laws or any legislation that would affect insurance coverage or that you want to make public so that those consumers who have older policies or may not have updated and looked at their coverages, that they should be made aware of?
Well, two parts to that. I mean, as insurance brokers, we're able to shop the insurance market to find the best coverage at the best cost for you, right? So no one company is ever just the best company for anybody, or for everybody, should I say, right? So a lot of people say, oh, I have this company, you need to go with them. Well, as brokers, people refer people to us and we figure out which company is the best for them. And then if it's no longer the best company for them, then obviously we can switch them and help find the best company for them at that point in time. So that's a new, it's not a new reality, but it's becoming more popular of having an independent agent, a broker that can actually shop and find the best policy that's for you. And we actually work for you. So we're not representing a company, one company, we're representing you and finding the best coverage for you, right?
Right. And, it's a question. I wanted to ask this to you, Christin. With the advent of online, cell phones, apps, information is a lot more readily accessible to most consumers. But currently in the insurance space, do you feel like you're doing more educating your clients now than in the past, or do you find that they're finding more information about goods and services online before you have an opportunity to meet with them?
I think that I've always made it a priority to educate my clients. That's what kind of made me different. I believe in other insurance professionals. It's not so much as me telling you what you're going to buy, but me educating you and giving you options so that you feel comfortable in purchasing a product that is going to be good for you and your family and your situation. I will say the internet is kind of a space where there's lots of good things, but there's a lot of information that's not accurate. People find that they think that they can do my job on the internet, but that's the truth. With a real estate professional, with a doctor, or anything like that. And I always tell people, you have to trust me as a professional. And I give the scenario all the time. If you go to the doctor and they tell you that you have the flu and tell you to take a Z-Pack for 12 days, you're going to say okay, and you're going to take the medication because you are actually looking at them as the professional.
That's right.
And I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So I understand that people believe you can go online and purchase insurance and be able to do it all on your own, but it is best to have a professional help you because things in your life can really go sour if you don't have the right coverage, the right limits of liability, or the right products to protect you, your family, and your assets.
And this question is for either one of the two. Could you give us an example of maybe a time when you were dealing with a client and they were apprehensive about protecting a certain asset, and they felt like they could procrastinate and put it off. But then out of nowhere, kind of like you were saying, Christin, life happens. And they maybe have reached out to you after the fact and were asking for your consultation, and you had to explain to them that insurance doesn't work that way. Do you get those type of stories and calls a lot?
I have the perfect example for that. So some years back, we were talking to a lot of our clients about life insurance, right? And we talked to this guy, and he said, oh, I have life insurance at work. I said, well, that's great. And my example that I give is that life insurance at work is like icing on the cake. So you can deal without the icing, but you need the cake. So the cake is what you have outside of work, right? So he was like, oh, no, I'm good with it at work. I said, well, what about when you retire? Oh, I'm never going to retire, or I won't need it at that point or whatever.
Iron Man.
Right.
Yeah.
And what about if you change jobs? Oh, I make $75,000 a year. I'm not changing jobs. I said, okay. All right. So I made a little note in the system and let him, so we can notate that we talked to him about it.
Yeah.
So then about 2 months later, he switched jobs. He went to another job. He got an offer for $150,000, double his salary, right? So he switched, and during that time, his benefits, there was a probationary period of 90 days. So during that 90 days, he actually got diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately, right? And so about 2 weeks after that, he passed away. So for me, for lack of better words, it sucks that happened, that he didn't have that. But at the same time, I'm just glad that I was able to, because I would have felt super bad had I not explained that to him, or at least given him the option, So that's one of the biggest things and one of the biggest stories I like to share, just that, sometimes, just like what Christin was saying, right? We're the professionals. We're trying to help you to understand what you need and something that you may not realize that you need. We're not just insurance salespeople out here just trying to push things down your throat.
That's right.
And I wanted to ask Christin, and not to put you on the spot, because I know it's a lot more involved than the question I'm going to ask you, but for our audience, could you speak a little about the difference between term life insurance and the type of life insurance where it has some sort of investment value over time? Because I think a lot of times people get phone calls and emails, and they see commercials, and they see a really low monthly cost for a really big number as far as insurance coverage. Can you just give, like I say, I know it's really involved,
it's
but
very
a
detailed,
quick snapshot of the differences in why you may see certain type of products advertised versus what it is that people may need?
Well, since you guys are real estate guys, I can really use a really good parallel. The difference in having term life insurance and permanent life insurance is like leasing a home versus buying a home, right? And different strokes to different folks is really what it is. There are some people have a situation to where they, need to lease a home, or they need to have term life insurance. It makes better sense, and then there are other products that are going to be permanent. The reason why there is going to be a difference in cost is a term policy. It has an end date, 20 years, 30 years, you pay that amount, and then after that, you're done. It's kind of like renting a house for 30 years and you move out. The other ones are more expensive because they're permanent policies, and they have different features that do things like build cash values and build dividends when you can purchase more insurance. So that's the difference between the two.
And I wanted to ask you, Markus, how do your clients usually reach out to you initially to schedule consultations? Is there an online, is it a website where they could go to schedule consultations? And when they do schedule a consultation, how does your consultations usually flow with a client so they can have an idea what to expect when they meet with you?
Well, most of our business is through referrals and referral partners. Perfect. So, we have a website, trusttolson.com, and we obviously have an office phone number, but most of our referral partners have our cell phone numbers, and actually so do most of our clients. So we're getting text messages, we're getting calls to our cell phones if people want to talk to us about insurance. And so most of the time, our consultations for car and home insurance are going to be over the phone. So we gather some information, and like Christin mentioned earlier, we do a really good job of going in depth and talking about coverages, helping them understand before we even give them the quotes, the differences between good coverage and not so good coverage and what they may or may not need. And then we go through it might take 10 or 15 minutes to get all the information, and then we get a quote together and call them back and figure out which options are best for them. Now, for life insurance, we can do a little bit of discovery over the phone, but a consultation in person is more so what we like to do there, just because it's so much more in depth, and it's a lot better for us to be able to go through a life needs analysis, figure out and customize how much coverage somebody needs and help them to understand the differences between, permanent and term insurance.
Because you and Ms. Christin, the energy and the vibe that I gather from you all as business professionals and business partners is I see a really great yin and yang with you all. I see how the energy it balances really well. Yes. So I want to ask you, Christin, what are some of the benefits in partnering with Markus and having a common brand and going out and working with clients and building referral partners, as opposed to doing something individually like you might have seen other people do and going out without having someone to bounce ideas off of?
Well, the first benefit is that Markus Tolson has the money to buy the business. That's the first thing.
That's always a plus. Slide that on in there, Chris.
Mr. Tolson had the bag. No, but honestly, we are very similar. We are personal friends. We have similar interests and similar backgrounds, of the same faith and things like that. But we're very different people when it comes to like working and things like that. We're just total opposites when it comes to that. And there's times I think between yesterday and today, we've called each other 2 or 3 times to say, hey, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about this carrier? What would you do in this situation? Because we think about things differently. So it's really good to have someone. And also, women, I have a lot of energy. I'm very high strung. I can be a bit emotional. And most men are, more calm, especially Markus. He's a very calm person. He's a problem solver. So when I'm freaking out about something, he'll be very calm, And I'm a really good multitasker, and I can take on a lot of, things at one time, and sometimes Markus has to focus more on one thing, so I can kind of do a bulk of some things, or he's managing something else. So it's really well, and I couldn't imagine doing it by myself without Markus.
It's funny that you bring that up because I'm really interested in this evolution of Mr. Markus Tolson and your entrepreneurial evolution as well. And if you both wouldn't mind, when we come back from our break, I want to speak to you guys a little bit about your professional background, some of your entrepreneurial endeavors before and after you guys started this brand, and some of the inspirations and mentors that may have given you the push you needed to step out on that journey. We're going to take a short break to hear a message from our sponsor. I urge everyone to stay tuned into the Prime Real Estate Network, and we'll be right back. This is Rick Davis, realtor and host of the Prime Real Estate Network. Are you currently leasing or looking to relocate to the Houston area and you find yourself falling in love with a home but aren't quite in a position to purchase? Well, no worries. We offer the Right to Purchase program. We can place you in the home of your dreams at current market rental rates and give you up to 3 years to buy. Did you know that a majority of the homes that are for sale offer better quality than those that are for rent? So why wait? Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Let me and my team help you purchase a home that you and your family can fall in love with. Give me a call today at 832-928-3963. And remember to follow the Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be blessed. Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. I urge you to follow me on social media at Prime Real Estate Rick. At Prime Real Estate Rick, you can follow me on Facebook as well as Instagram. As always, my co-host is the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, and our guests today are from Trust Tolson, Insurance and Financial Services, and our guests are Mr. Markus Tolson and Ms. Christin Olivier. But before we get back to our guests, I want to turn it over to Mr. Larry W. Brooks for some Prime Real Estate Network announcements.
Yep. I just wanted to make a real quick plug. One of Brooks and Davis's agent, Jordan Hamilton, and her husband are going to be hosting an event on Saturday. I think it starts at looks like it starts about 4:00, and it'll be going into the evening. But I want you to reach out to her. It's going to be a great event. They're doing headshots for people that may want some headshots. It'll be beverages, adult beverages, and food there. And her number is 832-863. 4697. Please reach out to her. Again, it's one of our newer agents. She's expanding her business and it's just really just letting everyone know who she is. And I wanted to most definitely promote that event for her.
Oh, no, I'm glad you did that. One thing about Brooks and Davis agents is they definitely know how to party. So if you haven't been to a Brooks and Davis event, please take the time to do so. I want to get back to our guests in our interview. Once again, our guests are Mr. Markus Tolson and Ms. Christin Olivier. So, Markus, I wanted to get into a little bit about your professional background and your entrepreneurial journey for our followers and listeners. Could you talk to us a little bit about your business evolution as a business person? Was there anyone who inspired you as a youngster to set your goals on being a business owner and casting your own lot within the entrepreneurial space? Because Larry and I have noticed a lot of our guests, they always have a story of someone in their immediate family or their immediate social circle that exposed them to something that they might not have understood at the time, but as an adult they realize, oh wow, this person showed me that I can work for myself.
I'm going to try to keep this short because I could probably write a book on it, right? But as a child, never thought about being an entrepreneur. Always got along with people, but just never thought much about it. But just was making money, trying to figure out how to make money at 12, 13, 14 years old. Knocking on neighbors' doors, asking, can I cut their grass?
Yeah.
Had a summer job detailing cars. So then before you knew it, I was detailing cars, and I give you a discount if I can cut your grass too. So,
Hey, that's lovely.
it sounds like
Smart.
bundling, right?
Right,
Auto and
smart.
home insurance, right? I never thought about it back then, though, right? Then one of these, a day when I was sitting on the porch, my neighbor, he would always have cars in his yard, right? And then they would be gone. There would be more cars. And I was like, man, what are you doing with all these cars? He would tell me, man, I go to the auction, get this car for $1,200, spend $600 fixing it, and then sell it for $4,000. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I said, because I always see you here. You don't work. He's like, no. So that just kind of opened my mind up to how you can make money without necessarily having a 9-to-5. Right, so went on to college. Never thought much more about it. Was a bootleg man before there was bootleg. Before the bootleg man was really there, right? And in college, I actually started off as a graphic design major. Right, for the first 2 years, did that at U of H, and then I found out about this professional sales program at the University of Houston. So I joined that. They had a 100% job placement rating. I wanted to graduate and have a job. So I joined the program, went through that for 2 years, and State Farm was actually one of the insurance partners with the program. So there was a gentleman named James Banks who had been an agent for about 30 years who said, come work with me and I will help you to open up your own agency. Work for me for 2 years. So
Sweet.
I went and did that, worked for him for 3 years, learned the ropes, and that was just invaluable lessons that I learned. I wouldn't exchange that for the world or even having an agency earlier. So then at age 26, I ended up opening up my own insurance agency, my State Farm office. Grew there. Christin ended up coming to work for me at a certain point in time. And then I would go back to the school, University of Houston, and talk to the business students about entrepreneurship, about marketing, and about being able to choose a career. Because I went through a pretty hefty process trying to figure out which career I wanted to go down, right? Yeah. And so then just about 2.5 years ago, I opened this brokerage, this insurance brokerage with Goosehead Insurance. And so now here we are today.
No, I think it's really important because there are people who, of course, is going to see this episode or hear the pod later that have known you from U of H or maybe even before college and has seen your entrepreneurial and business person evolution.
Right.
And I think the best part about having you on today is that people get an idea how you became who you are without thinking that you started off with a leg up or you were someone handed over the keys to a office to you, because I know in insurance sometimes people can buy a business.
Oh, right. Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So you actually got it out of the
Started
mud.
from zero.
And I think that's an example that we don't highlight enough today. I mean, it even trickles down to sports a lot.
Right.
They make it seem so easily and effortless, and they make everyone who's successful seem like it's just off raw talent.
Right.
They don't actually show you the people with the dirt under their fingernails and how they actually had to start from the bottom.
Hard work and the
Right,
grit.
so I want to commend you for that and sharing that story. But I want to make sure I ask Christin, because with your personality and the energy and the aura that you give off.
Before the question
No, this is funny because with the energy and aura, I'm always curious to know your professional background. When you were younger, let's say recent grad from college, what is it that you thought you wanted to be at like 22 and a half? And how did you get to the point where you become an entrepreneur and a businesswoman with her own insurance practice?
Okay, well, when I was younger, I worked in the hospitality industry. It's no secret. Everyone knows I was a Hooters girl for 6 years.
I didn't
so,
know that.
well, a lot of people know. But I was a Hooters girl, and I love it, and it was great, and I wouldn't be who I am today without that experience. So I was in college. I was attending the University of Houston, and I was studying communications. And it was getting to the point where I knew that I couldn't, wear orange shorts forever. So the counselor at the school began to speak to me about internships. So then I went to go look into internships, and I realized quickly that was working for free. And I wasn't about to do that. So then I found out that there were paid internships. So I wanted to try my hardest to be able to get an internship that was paid. But just with the way I guess the Lord works is how I feel. I met a lady who gave me an opportunity to work within State Farm. At the time, I didn't even have liability insurance. I was riding dirty. I knew nothing about insurance. I just knew that I was going to be able to have a real job. So I worked with this lady and actually got to be in a program with State Farm prior to her agency opening called the Hispanic Initiative Program to bring more Hispanics into State Farm because so many of them were, using Fred Loya insurance because they thought they had to. So I kind of pretended a little bit like I was Hispanic because yo hablo español. So I just asked, Mamita, ¿de dónde eres? Colombia, Dominican. I was just saying whatever, but I did a really good
I wish
job.
I could do that.
Yeah.
And I did a really good job, and we got over 400 leads and did a great event down at La Michoacana, kind of in the Oak Forest area, and brought in some leads. So from there, I started, my insurance career. It was very bumpy in the very beginning for me because I wasn't used to working in a professional setting.
Yeah.
But the point was that I love people and I love to help people. And that within me, I was able to use in my insurance career.
Man, that's what's up.
No.
Not only that, but a great thing about that is that because I've had friends, they started out in the line of work that you did at first, and they could never make the transition from that line of work to a professional job where they were receiving a nice salary. They could never make that transition, regardless if they were people person or not. So I commend you on that, and your energy speaks to the profession that you're in, no doubt about it.
No,
and do you know Spanish? Like, hold on, because you did just throw out a lot of strong words. I think you picked it up pretty good.
I can speak enough Spanish to get a date.
Yeah.
And I can speak enough Spanish to fill out an auto and home application.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's up.
This is the thing, and like I said, not to put you both on the spot, but I am very sure we're going to have an outstandingly positive response to today's episode. So are there any events, public service, anywhere where people may be able to engage with you all in person, meet you out in the community, or just pick your brain and schedule a consultation? So is there anything that's coming up on you guys' agenda for the next couple of months where people from the Prime Real Estate Network audience can actually come out and meet Mr. Tolson and Ms. Olivier?
Well, we don't have anything actually on the schedule right now. We are often working with our referral partners and doing, open houses. And
Absolutely.
we did just work a crawfish festival down at the Discovery Green this past, it was this month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we did that. And so we're often out in the community doing different things, but currently we don't have anything on the schedule. But if you want to get in contact with us and you want to talk about insurance, if you want to talk about entrepreneurship, marketing, mentorship, somebody mentored me and I have some mentees now. So I'm definitely open to that. Feel free to give us a shout on Instagram or visit the website or give us a call.
Absolutely. Mr. Brooks,
Yes, sir.
what's going on in the wonderful world of Mr. Larry W. Brooks and Brooks and
Man.
Davis Real Estate Firm?
You know what, man? I'm just gonna enjoy watching the Texans pick up tonight. We're gonna pick us up a great athlete. I don't know who he is, but he's gonna make our team that much more successful, and we're gonna start our run for the Super Bowl
Now,
tonight
Mr. Brooks,
with that.
and I'm going to expose you publicly. I've known you for a while. I've known you since we were youth and we were actually competing in sports. When you played football,
Yeah,
I couldn't get you to watch football.
I didn't
How
even
have
like
you turned
football.
into a football fan
Man,
as you've gotten older?
That's a great question because I didn't. Honestly, I played this game and I didn't like it. I mean, I played it, but I was good at it and I liked it, but I didn't really like it. Like, you couldn't have me a conversation outside of practice or outside of the game. Well, after I got to the age where if I physically had made it professionally, I couldn't play anymore, I fell in love with the game. Because I think my challenge is that I was kind of bitter because I think that through some relationships, I did not make it to the level that I felt like I should have. So once I got to the age where my body would not have allowed me to continue to play the game anyway, I fell in love with it, and that's just kind of how it happened.
I guess I
But
got to
that's
get
a
you.
great question,
I
man.
got to get you
That's
in
a
the
great
studio
question, 'cause you knew
under
me. You know
lights
me.
with cameras to get you to be this candid. I appreciate
That's
your
the truth,
candor,
man. That's
and we'll
it.
end the episode on that note. Hey, everyone, I appreciate you for tuning into the Private Real Estate Network podcast this week. I want to thank our guests, Mr. Markus Tolson and Ms. Christin Olivier, and as always, I want to thank my very candid co-host, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. So on
With
behalf
Olivier's.
of Mr. Brooks, our guest, I'm Rick Davis. Thank you for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and I'll see you all next week. Stay.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm LLC is marketing a property for sale right now that you can buy. These properties range from land lots for under $20,000 to move-in ready homes $500,000 and more, along with everything in between. To see this week's list of properties for sale you can buy now, go to bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. That's bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. If you plan on selling some real estate and you need it on the weekly list, call 713-665-8329 to speak with someone about it.